live.
Awesome. All right, guys. Let's start with the futures, as we do always. Futures seem to be taking a dive, but not much. It's basically nothing at this point, I, and I think it's just technical or skeptical at best. It's nothing major here. About 18 points, and most likely it will come down to 4,600 and bounce off of there. Just in case if that doesn't bounce there, you can look for a test of 45.92 for futures to bounce. These two areas are good areas for futures to bounce, and I don't I don't think it's going to break 46. But if it does break 46, then we could look for a test of mean on the 4 hour. I don't think that's going to happen. Just in case that happens, 45.92 is what we're going to watch. There should be a bounce here. Then we'll reassess the situation here, 45.92. If it breaks this, then a good chance it's going to hit 45.85. I don't think it's going to go below this number, 45.85. Let's see on the daily. The first test, yeah, 4600 should be the first test. Uh, I think after that, 45.92. And then if that breaks, then we should push towards 45.63 or 45.60, somewhere on that range. I don't think that is going to happen, but let's just see how it works out. I'm looking for, I'm not looking for it to push down towards 100. Uh, and definitely the conditions here are pretty oversold, pretty overbought. So pullback is would be healthy. $100 pullback, I'm not looking for that. Or 100 points pullback, I'm definitely not looking for that. Apple wouldn't agree, Microsoft wouldn't agree. There are minor pullbacks on those, but I don't think they're going to pull back. I don't see a major pullback happening right now. Maybe into the next week, but for now, I think it's just a minor pullback. Of course, if the situation changes and S&P kind of pushes below uh, this level here, 46.92, or sorry, 45.92, then we'll reassess the model and kind of look for this 45.66 area, which is the mean on the 4 hour. So let's see after 45.92. Tesla, this thing is in a squeeze and it's been squeezing pretty hard. And there, the chart that matters to us for the trading intraday, that chart has been squeezing pretty hard. And if the market pushes down, Tesla will, I think, come down to 1067. And I there are good chances of it bouncing to the upside for now. Uh, the mean on the 4 hour again is sitting around 1050. If this happens, it will be a healthy pullback. It will give us better entries. Will I be shorting Tesla? Not at this point. Although I want to short Tesla, there are good chances that it will break its 8 on the 5. There are very good chances this will happen. But am I shorting Tesla as of now, or am I shorting Tesla at the open? No, I'm not doing that. Uh, Simply because whenever the dip happens, people seem to be buying these dips, and I don't want to get caught. I want to wait for another like 15 minutes or so, unless the price action becomes worse. That's when I want to. The 8 below 21 happened, so I will keep an eye on this. And 3 minute chart, if 8 over 21 happens again, the upside. Here 8 below 21 is currently happening. So if 8 over 21 happens, then I'll keep a check on that. Probably I'll take a long, then I'll confirm that on the 5, then I'll confirm it on the 15. For now, here is 8, here is 21. So 8 below 21 is happening and has already crossed its 100. So this was supposed to be a major support. It did cross that. So let's see. but not by a lot. Tesla could actually push down, but not by a lot. If it does come back down, this is where first standard deviation, second standard deviation, there's a lot of support. And I think 1067 area should act as a bounce again. And I'm not looking for a major pullback. 1067. Let's reassess the situation here. If this breaks, then we're looking for 1054. This will be a certain bounce here. It should bounce here. Rather, first it should bounce about here. If that breaks, it should bounce about 1080. That breaks, it should bounce about 1067. If that breaks, this will be the 1050. I think around 1050 should be the end of it. Not looking below 1050 right now. 8 is uh, around 1000. I don't think it's going to push down that hard, not at least today. But test of 5 could be happening again. 1050 area test of 5 could be happening again. So let's keep a watch on this number here. The second standard deviation, 1080. That breaks, slow ground to 1067. So let's keep a watch on that. And the interesting one here is the VIX. This thing, like we were discussing yesterday, this is the range that VIX will be in 1860 through 20, this number here, 2028, whatever this number is. This will be the range for VIX. And if VIX breaks above its 200 on the monthly, then we'll look for a hit of 22. As of now, I'm not looking at that, but just in case if it breaks above 2020, then I'll look for a hit of 22. That is still not a major move considering what we went through. This would be healthy. But if it breaks below here at 1860 or something, then we can look for a push down on VIX. I think probably to, what's that number here? 1790. And I think VIX will come back down after probably this push. It will come back down to 1680 levels. So we need one more push from VIX. Uh, might happen today. I don't think so. It might happen today. I don't see it happening. But 21 is where if it can clear 21, then you can look for 22. Uh, so the 5 is sitting at around 21. The 8 is sitting at around 22. So VIX would be the name of the game today, and this would be a healthy push for VIX. VIX should not be dying this hard, this fast, given the environment. So yeah, so I think again the same playbook. Uh, Yesterday night I was looking for markets to open higher and then push down towards the close, but looks like again we'll open lower and probably push up later in the day. And my one setup is AMD. I'm not looking to short the markets. I am definitely not looking to short the markets at all. So my one good setup, if I can get an entry, would be this one, AMD. Again, I'll have my SOX, SMH, and then I'll trade one of these semiconductor stocks. MU had a good earnings, so based on that, I think AMD should be good. So looking to trade AMD today. The upside, if I can get a good entry around even 120, 140 or something, if it hits the mean, then I'll look for a push up towards this number, 126. So the base case would be here, 124.70, 124. Let's round that up at 124.50 and to the upside. And then good to have would be 126.60. And if it can clear this number, then we are looking for a push into 128 for AMD. But my entries and exits will be based on VIX. This is what this is what I want to see. And if it hits here, 20 something 20, the super trend on the 1 hour, this is where I look to go long the markets. So it should hit this and take a breather here. If not a full break, it should take a breather around here. That's how I want to enter, make my entries. uh, there's another news for Biogen, I think. Before we get into Biogen, let's look for SPX levels. All right, so SPX, the meaningful chart, probably will start with here. Whereas Pi is one. Right, so Pi is about 460, 459, somewhere around, bouncing off of that. 459. So this is where the markets are right now. About 459, 46, somewhere around here. And most likely the market will, if it opens here, most likely the markets will come down to 4589 ish, and then most likely ephemeral bounce here, then a push down towards 4581 for SPX. So this is what we're watching: 4580, 4581. This is what we're watching on SPX. And on the hourly chart, this does look overbought. So if it can come down, oh, there's a doji here. So yeah, market is currently around here, 45.99, and a push down 45.62 on, this would be a healthy pullback down to its mean, around 45.61. I think by the market opens, the mean will push higher a little bit, around 45.65 or something like that. So let's look for that number, and most likely it will bounce around here. Uh, and let's reassess the situation if it comes back down to that number, 45, 60, somewhere around this number, around the mean on the 1 hour. Mean is sitting about here, 43.70. I don't believe it's going to go down that far, but let's just keep this number here, 45.80. And the 100 is sitting around at 45, 47. So I think this will be the test. I'm not looking for a 90 points pull back on SPX. I'm definitely not looking for that. But a healthy pullback. He's getting yelled at again. So not looking for 90 points pullback on SPX. Definitely not looking for that. But Microsoft and Apple, they are kind of oversold and they need to come back down. So I think that's what we are seeing here right now. So this is just technical pullback, probably about the 60 to, 50 to 60 points down. But if the selling intensifies, then this is where it should stop. 45, 47. Around this number, it should come back down and stop. Again, I'm not looking for a 90 points pullback on SPX, but should the selling intensify, this is where it should stop. Actually, I'm looking for, Apple to hit all-time highs, but let's see. And if Apple hits all-time highs, I think SPX will push into 46.79. Uh, from where it closed yesterday, it's about 40 or 50 points, not that far. But where it is right now, that's about 80 points. So $8 on SPY for that matter. $8 on SPY. Will that happen today? Well, well, there's a very good chance of that happening. And if just if Apple reverses and pushes into its all-time highs, and that's not too far. And this is the reason I don't really have a watch list because a whole lot of is dependent on Apple. If Apple pushes into 180, 130 and beyond, and it's not too far. It's just not too far. This is right here where it is sitting, and this is the reason it's stopping. If you extend this line, and that's the super trend line, that's it stopping, and I think it will clear this line and push into all-time highs. Most likely that's the case. Uh, uh, to the downside, if I want to chart, 171 is where I'm seeing Apple. It should be absolute. If it pushes down, I don't see Apple coming back down to 171 today, but if it does, that's where it should stop. Absolutely, absolute bottom today. And here is where it should bounce. 176.90. Let's round that up at around 177. If that breaks, then we're looking for a push down into this number around 175.60. Do I think it will happen? I don't think it's going to happen. Most likely the bounce will come around here, even if in fact it comes down there. 176, let's say 177. Uh, this is where it should bounce, the mean on the 1 hour. And Microsoft, again, the same thing. Coming back down, I think the mean is about here. If the mean breaks, then we'll look into Microsoft going back to 307. Microsoft is a different thing compared to Apple. So it's a little different. Basically the same business, but it's different. They have Apple has more what do you call I don't know how to put it, but their business, they have ecosystem and whatnot, right? So what is that? Morning, ladies and gents. Morning, sir. Sound smart, okay? Because voice today with market, yes. Antitrust probe of Google Map, yes. Take a peek at WSM and GPS. That's on 1 day indicator. All right, let's get into. But I'll be trading AMD today, not Nvidia, but AMD. What are we looking for? WSM. Mhm. Okay, looks good. What are they into? Oh, Williams Sonoma. This is coming back. This is related to housing. So technicals looking good. I think a push into 156 uh, might happen if the markets push up. This will push into 156 or at least into 153.50. It should bounce here. If it comes back down, it should bounce. A good bounce should be here, 151. 151 should be a good bounce point for this one. And I think it will push into 153 again. If the markets hold, then we're looking for 156 for Williams Sonoma. This is related to housing again. Housing right now, I think housing is not that hot uh, because of the interest rates pushing higher. So I think the home sales or some data point that I was watching today. No, not on home sales. Uh, Mortgage applications. I think it was drastically down. Uh, so Williams Sonoma, these guys are into colors, paints, and whatnot. Uh, so am I reading that right? Yeah, there. Yeah, I think these guys make paints and whatnot. Oh, so that's the thing with it should bounce here. There's a whole lot of support up here, 151. And then let's look at those them gains, Lulu. Yeah, GPS. Yeah, Gap is a good one. Gap had blowout earnings last quarter, and they pushed up pretty high. This, I think, yeah, right here. I remember this. And when this was happening, I was looking for Nike to push higher into earnings. Then, based on Nike, I was also looking for Lulu to push higher into earnings, based on the Gap earnings. So these earnings were really good. These GPS earnings set the tone for this one. I think I did make a note of it on that day itself. Let me see. Come on. Why? What's happening? Why is it not?
You misspelled your name, Darth.
Yeah, there I am. There. So did okay. Expecting apparel to be good. Not sure if Lulu had earnings already. If not, I want to get involved. So there you go. March 29. Simon is saying March 29. So March 29 happened, and awesome. Lulu should print, and as expected, Lulu printed hard. And I don't know if anybody took it. So there you have that. And that's just how you make correlations with stocks. And the Nike came up with good earnings, and that was the that was it for Lulu. So that was the this set the tone for that whole sector, apparel sector. And Nike did a good job of earnings, and Lulu was just there sitting to be taken. Uh, Oil, not going to touch oil. Not going to touch this thing. It's purely news based, so nothing there. 10-year. This we chartered yesterday for it to come back down to whatever this number was, and it did come down. And it is bouncing from there, but I don't see it pushing all that high. It is just a technical bounce here, and yeah, it was a technical bounce on the 10-year. And we got this. I was looking for this number here, 2.32, uh, but it bounced off of here. I don't know why it bounced off of here, but it did, and came right back into resistance. I think it should stop around here because it has some. At least take a breather here. At least take a breather. It has some solid resistance here around 2.437. But if it clears here, then we can look for a push into 2.45. This should be definite breather here. So yeah, 2.44, 2.45. This should be the breather. This should be, and then I think based on the technicals on the daily, it should resume lower. Uh, I'm not looking for a mean reversal. I'm not. Maybe around 2.23. So yeah, there's no misplaced doji or anything here. So this looks clean chart. Let's see if we can push it down to 2.23. Or as of now, where things are standing, I think this will push into. I think it will push into 2.437. Let's 2.438. Let's see how it behaves around its 50 on the 1 hour. If it breaks above there, and we can look for 2.45. You guys, if anybody is interested, they can trade TLT as well. TLT is where you can play interest rates. FB, I forgot. FB, somebody DM me. FB. FB is the one that I'll keep an eye on today. If FB gives a good entry, and this is where FB would push into 233. If FB gives a good entry, I'll take it. I'll take this entry. Maybe 226, whereas the 8 is sitting on the weekly. Maybe that good bounce spot. And yeah, definitely FB has room to the upside. It's just a matter of finding a good entry point. 226 most likely will be the good entry point around 226. Between 226 225 should be a very good entry point, I think, for FB. And I think after that we should push into this number here at the 200, 233, around this number. So look for FB, look for AMD. I don't want to play Microsoft unless I get a clear signal. But if I get a clear shot at Microsoft, I will alert it. Uh, yeah, this was supposed to happen. So bounce here, bounce here. 26. This is the bounce I'm looking for. If that misses, then this is where it is headed. All right, guys. I think 3 minutes to the open. FB, Microsoft, AMD, and Tesla on watch list for now. Crowd is a good one, but I don't want to get involved in crowd as of now. I will alert in the chat or in voice as and when things unfold. So let's move over to Sanity, and good luck.